Welcome back to Studio F on Fast Times Willy B. We'll be reviewing Smile 2. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Take it away, Russ.
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got Mike back. Mike, how we doing?
Fantastic. No complaints. What about you?
Doing well. Doing well. So today we'll be reviewing Smile 2. Obviously, we just reviewed the original Smile, both fans. And I know you gave me a ring after this one, and you're like, I don't want to give too much away, but I love it. So, excited to talk this one with you. Parker Finn back in the director's chair. And I mean, we're not starting the good yet, but his direction in both these movies have been fantastic. I'll give him that. We got Naomi Scott in the lead role, and we were correct. Kyle Gallner did start this movie off showing how he passes it on.
Yes, and what a bang.
Yeah, no
Dude,
kidding.
I thought we were watching like Breaking Bad or like
yeah.
Have you seen any of Barry yet with Bill Hader?
No.
But I told you to.
Yeah, I watched a few episodes
it's
with you.
that same vibe with like the Russian cartels. I was like, what, dude?
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah. So we'll start with the good. I thought it had a really good introduction. I like the carryover we got from Smile to Smile 2 with Kyle Gallner. I like his mindset in the sense that, okay, I'm gonna murder a piece of shit drug dealer in front of another piece of shit drug dealer, and that's how I'm gonna pass it on.
Yes. Like how else would a cop?
Yeah.
You know he's gonna think of the most like humane way to pass this curse on.
Yeah. If I have to kill somebody,
I mean, that's not humane, but like if I have to kill somebody, it better be a piece of crap.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
And then shit hits the fan.
Oh my god.
And you got a guy sitting in the room. Other guys show up. You think he escapes, and all of a sudden he
gets blasted by a truck.
Bodied.
Did you jump a little from that?
I didn't jump, but my heart
jumped a little, and then I was like,
shit, that's how we're starting this one. So we talked about it with the first movie. You got to have a good hook sometimes, that helps big in a horror movie, and they get you in. You're buckled up as soon as this movie starts.
And one thing I loved about the first movie was after the patient slits her throat, and then she's under the white sheet. It shows the mark of where she slit herself looks like a smile. Yeah. And the skid mark of him getting hit, all his blood in his guts, smile. Yeah. I love how that's... Yeah. If they do another one...
The attention to detail.
I'm excited. If they do another one, I'm excited to see how they do that again.
Yeah. But nonetheless, great introduction. And then from there, we're immediately pumped into Naomi Scott Scoria Sky Riley, who is this pop star who is recovering from addiction, getting ready for her, comeback tour, basically, and the drug dealer that ended up being in that room, sitting there.
One thing I liked though is they didn't drag her introduction out too long. You know what I'm saying?
No, we get right into it.
It was just a talk show. Yeah. She said why she was, down in the slumps, and they mentioned the car crash that she was in, and then obviously that she is a singer. Yeah. And then they go straight into her, what she's doing with her back pain, and then that she needs drugs. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They quickly kind of set the landscape up for you and where she's at in life and this comeback tour, and she needs some Vicodin because of her back pain, so she hits up.
I'm going to say one more thing.
Is that his name?
Lewis Fergoli? From high school, a high school friend. Which I was always wondering, like, why is this fucking dweeb? Yeah. Sky Riley, this famous singer's drugged out. I was like, oh, okay, high school friend. But one thing that I was kind of, when I watched one trailer of the movie, and I saw how the whole story looked like it was based around the singer, and I was like, God, I hope this isn't just some kind of cheesy, like, I had kind of put my hopes down. Yeah. After watching the trailer and seeing what the vibe was about, but we can continue on. Yeah. So the scene with Lewis.
But then we get another great scene. That scene with Lewis where he's kind of freaking out. You can tell that he's
grabs the katana.
Yeah. And you can tell that he's been dealing with this shit. And then all of a sudden he disappears. She sees a little news clip of herself, and she shuts it off, and she's like, where the fuck is this guy? And that's when we get...
Then Parker Finnegan dragging on silence and building your suspense up, which I love.
That's when we get the...
One of
Makes
the
you not
most
want to lift weights anymore, right?
Oh, my... Dude. How about the noise it made when the weight hit his face?
Oh my
Every
gosh.
single time you're just... And then he's smiling the entire time.
This movie did have very good sound design.
Did you notice that after, I think it might have been the third or fourth time he smashed his face, and when his whole face was falling apart, that his skeleton was still smiling?
Yeah. And then the sound of like the
everything,
jaw. Because then you hear that reoccurs in her,
when she starts hallucinating. Yeah, when she gets...
And, that was quite the ride to get us going, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I think this movie had... it had a few jump scares. I don't think they got me like the first movie did, so that was a little underwhelming.
I was the opposite.
There was one that was fantastic. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I think it's the headlights shining through her friend. Remember when she was at it?
Yes.
Dude, that got me the best out of all the scares.
Yeah. Dude, there were like, I just feel like the first one they all got me, and this one there were a few that were a little more predictable.
The first one, it might just be because it's the second one, and you're kind of catching on to how the
scares that were still. There were still moments that were like very tense, like the scene where she's in her room and like all of her backup dancers are like following her around. That was tense as hell.
That was. Yeah.
I feel like...
I liked that. That was... Yeah. But we'll get to that.
I feel like with the first movie, you got more horror, and this one you got more thriller.
Yes.
I feel like this one...
And more gore in the second one.
Yeah,
for sure.
I feel like this one just used more... almost suspense and like tension.
Yes.
Than the first one did.
But nothing will beat when Rose has her headphones on the first one. That is one, the far and gone might be the most I've ever jumped in any movie.
Yeah,
like,
that one was really good. No, the gore was good too. I thought everything looked good. Obviously,
special effects were good.
Obviously, with Lewis's death, you get the stuff with the car accident flashbacks.
How about the scene that I think we may have skipped over it, or you may have wanted to get to it, where she's in her dressing room and she keeps seeing Lewis behind her, and they're like, and then he does the like makes her smile. Yeah. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah. But I mean, all of the gore looked really good. And there was a good bit of it, like you said. Obviously you get the mom stuff, which was insane. Cool. That scene was pretty good.
Plucked her eye out.
Yeah,
dude.
Oh my gosh. But it's crazy too, because you're watching this, and like when you're watching it, that it's her doing it, like the mom death. Mm-hmm. But then in the end, you're like, okay, hopefully that was all just hallucination. The moms can still be alive, because you're like, at this point, you're like trying to save face for her when you're watching the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Also,
like, and it's one of those things where if you've seen the first movie, I was going to bring this up, like, that by the end of the movie, you were like, I didn't even know what was real or when, because that crazy plot twist at the end. So you go into the second movie thinking, okay, I maybe I'll be able to tell what is real, what is an illusion, when does it start and when does it stop. But still, it's by that ending,
there were a few moments I did predict, like the Gemma one when she was in the car.
I had a feeling
after
that was...
she killed her mom. I was like, I have a feeling that's not Gemma.
But I did not know.
I didn't expect it to be that Gemma and her never
She never came in. Yes. That's the one that got me pretty good.
But I had a feeling that it wasn't Gemma in that situation.
Me too. I had a hunch,
But that was crazy.
How about when she's like signing, taking pictures and stuff, and then the
Alfredo
little girl
is
Alfredo
insane.
I love how his name's Alfredo.
Yeah, that scene where he's just standing in the hallway, I'm like, what?
Of course, he's got to be in Italian, like us. Like, of course.
But no, the gore was really good. It still had it definitely leaned on tension more than jump scares, but there was a lot of moments where the tension was really good.
Yes,
there was.
Yeah. Like, I was going to bring up the scene with Alfredo in her apartment. Yeah. His fucking underwear.
Yeah. Oh, the shit stains.
And then he's just standing there butt-ass naked, and you're like, oh, come on, man. I know he's going to run at her. But still, they waited, and then still my heart jumped a little bit when he started running at her.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I don't know why the whole time I was watching that scene, I was just picturing Jeremy from Kill Tony. I'm like waiting for Alfredo to go, that's what's up.
That's what's up.
But he never did.
Adam Ray to the moon.
But for sure. What else really stuck out for you in the good? I know you love this movie.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I gave it some more thought, and I mean, at first I said that I may have liked the second one a teeny bit more, but I think the story of the first one outweighs the gore and the tensity and stuff of the second one.
That's where I'm sitting at.
It had the story and the jump scares, even though the second one got me a few more times than the first one did. Yeah. The first one's story is hard to beat.
Yeah, for sure.
So I have decided my final score. Okay. But like I still loved it. Like I'm a sucker for the first movie, and I knew I was going to go in there, and I think the movie was shot well. I love the direction from Parker Finn. I think if you're going to talk about anything that stuck out, it's the direction itself. He's the writer, director, and producer. Like, he's got a brain. He's got a freaking brain, man.
But as far as, like, glaring goods, I think that kind of wraps it up for me.
I also thought that a lot of, like, the side acting was good, too.
Yeah. All
like,
the acting in general.
I didn't think there wasn't bad acting, honestly.
No, I thought
Naomi Scott, I think she should win maybe an award or something.
Okay.
From, I feel like she nailed every single emotion there is in that movie.
For sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she was psycho. She was sad. She was... like, she literally... she went through a roller coaster of emotions. And did you know that she's... Like, before this movie, she was just a British singer. Like...
Really?
Yeah. Because when they did the fan event... So you guys know I went to this fan event thing, and we got to see like 10 minutes of stuff that you don't get to see if you saw it regularly. Yeah. And she talked about herself, and she said... Interesting. She said this was her first time, like...
Acting.
She's been in very, very minor roles. Like, if you look it up...
a role like this.
Yeah, but this is the first time she's done by far, huge role.
Yeah. Interesting.
And she's really good. She did good. Really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no complaints in the acting department. I thought all the supporting characters did a good job, for sure. You want to hop over to the meh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like we might have a similar meh.
For the meh, it kind of piggybacks off what you said with the story. I felt like this one got a little repetitive at times. Yeah. Which is expected with a sequel. So it wasn't enough to kill it. Like I said, I still enjoyed this movie.
Even though I thought the story was a unique take also on horror, making it all about like a famous person. Like, I mean, maybe I've seen a lot of horror, but I don't think I've seen a horror movie that is based around like a celebrity or a
No, it was still different in its own
someone
way.
famous handles all this stuff that's happening to her, and then she's making some controversial decisions through like the curse, and then it's like how her fans are gonna react and stuff like that.
It was definitely
still, I agree with you on that, Matt, part.
It was in the sense of repetitive. I mean, like, it didn't push the lore enough for me. Yeah, I think it could have pushed more. Like, we definitely get more than just what the first one was, but I wanted a little more than we got. Yeah. And then also in repetitive, some of the dialogue's repetitive. I mean, I feel like we hear... I saw this one review. Let's do a drinking game where you have to take a shot every time you hear them say, "This is going to ruin the tour." Which I was like, you probably hear that at least 10 times, especially from the mom.
Yeah, but I mean, that honestly is just like they're trying to tell you like that all the mom cares about is. But also, you don't know, because like I feel like she started saying that stuff after the big curse set in, you know, the long illusion that never happened. Maybe that's a part of, the entity just trying to bring out the worst in everything that she can think of, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I bet you the mom is acts like she's not like that, but in deep down she does. That's all she cares about.
Another man I have, and Rosie says I shouldn't say this because they come out and say that the drinking the water part is like obviously a coping mechanism with her alcohol abuse and stuff like that. But why does she have to drink the water like that?
Well,
you know what I'm talking about? She like full like mouth around the rim. I'm like, I'm like,
keep doing it.
I was just watching. I'm like, nobody drinks water like
cut that out.
She was like, that's how, like, that's the part of the Coke mechanism. I'm like, are you sure? Like, fully rimming like the glass bottle? Maybe it
Maybe
is. Maybe
getting
I'm
it
wrong.
down as quick as possible.
Maybe.
I
But
don't
I'm
know.
just sitting there. I'm like, man, like that water bottle never stood a chance.
I love that that's a man. I love that.
every time it popped up, I'm like,
Here she goes.
I'm like, this Voss water's gonna be gone in 3 seconds.
That might be quicker than
She
me.
doesn't go pee once in the movie either, so like, inconsistent. Not kidding, but
Bull crap.
like, how do you drink that
2
much
out of 10.
water? How do you drink that much water and not know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I felt like some of the jump scares for this movie were a little cringier too, and I think maybe that's why they didn't get me. I feel like they weren't
I can see what you think. I think that they were like creative, but at the same time, you know, like he's trying new
I just
things.
feel like
I
they
feel
were
like
more well placed in the first movie.
yeah.
And so sometimes it was like, okay.
Even though I feel like more of the scares got me in the second one, the first one had better in like, I think, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but I just think that they were like I was talking about with the headphone scene, like that is the best jump scare in the series so far.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And then my last Matt I'd probably say is I just don't know how I feel about the ending.
That's my meh.
I get what they're doing, because obviously the way the ending happened, they're setting up future movies, because now everybody's got the curse.
I was talking about this with my mom after, and I was like, what if they end the trilogy with a post-apocalyptic?
That could be a cool route to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's but not like full zombie mode.
Yeah.
But like where it's like a survival type thing.
Yeah.
Where
that would be cool. It's just the way it ended, it felt a little forced for more. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like it forced a third movie. And then the other thing...
I also think at the same time that it didn't, and this is why I think... Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
But I think it opens up the question of, are they really going to have that many people get cursed?
That's true.
Could that just be the way of saying, like, well, it makes you wonder, what are they going to do for the next movie if this is the case? Like, will there be more?
What if somebody's fucked up and they don't get traumatized by it, so they don't get the curse? Remember, you have to get traumatized by it.
Or somebody was asleep.
That's true too. The other thing is, I was a little bummed it was off screen. Like,
I was going to say, I wish we would have seen it.
You show this gore all movie long, and then like
that's another thing that I did not like, man.
And I do like the sound design, like you hear it, so you can kind of
thank
create,
God we got that.
And then you see the end result.
I wish they would have shown us her mom and Justin's reaction.
Honestly, like we see all these fans, and they're kind of like all shocked, but like I thought
was that his name, Justin? Right?
It might have been the assistant. I think that would have been cool too, seeing their reaction. But yeah, I don't know. The ending just didn't sit right with me. It was a little bit. It was
I like the ending of the first one a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was because I remember literally saying to my mom, I was like, "Why aren't they showing it? Why aren't they showing this?"
Yeah.
And I did think the nice little ending shot with the microphone in her eye was cool. Like,
I also want to know what's going on with the brother guy that was trying to help her heart stop and
Morse.
Yeah,
Morse. See, this is another thing.
Like, I'm guessing that her and Morris met, and then that the second one was just a complete vision.
Yeah. No. Yes. But also that. But I mean,
I thought it was a cool route to go to kind of see the
thing is, my
battle.
mom made this point, and then I kind of debunked it. She said, "What if he was just an illusion made by the entity?" But you have to see. The entity creates illusions of people you've seen before.
So the first interaction's real, for sure.
the first one is real for sure. So
but the second one, I kind of picked
that brings up a scene.
But like, I thought it would have been cool to kind of see the payoff of like, or not payoff, but like to see the attempt of the heart stop type of thing. I thought that would be cool. I
also love this was another like a literal callback scene to the first one is when Sky Riley is having the first dream about when she's in the car crash. She gets in the car crash, she's looking at what is Jack Nicholson's son's character? What's Ray Nicholson's character's name?
Hudson
Paul.
Yeah.
Where she's
Hudson Paul, yeah.
where she's just screaming in terror, looking at him.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it pans to her like gasping and waking up. Do you remember when Rose did that after her having that dream? And it's the same exact thing. I thought that was cool.
The car accident scene was kind of crazy too.
Yeah.
Like seeing how it happened.
That I liked the acting and interactions between those two also, just like ripping into each other. You know what I'm saying? So I hate you, and then of course Ray Nicholson just his inner dad comes out of him in that scene where he's just laughing and just just
for sure.
I
don't have anything in the bad. I definitely had more in the bad than I did in the first movie, so that's where I come to the conclusion I prefer the first movie, but I still enjoyed this second movie. Just not as much as the first, and I'd still say it was a good film.
I came to that conclusion as well, even though I gave the first one a higher score than you did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Also, one thing when we brought up Morris, how about when he was like, and I didn't believe my brother. I thought he was crazy until I got a call and said that he ripped his jaw off with a crowbar, and then it jump cuts to that, and then jump cut. I liked those quick jump cuts that they had in the movie, like when she was ripping her hair out. And I like those.
They were unsettling.
Good transitions too. Another thing I wanted to bring up was when she got dropped off at her apartment before she went to Lewis's.
Yeah.
Remember when she went in the revolving door and that came out, and then she came out? I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I know you respect. Is that cinematography?
Yeah. Did
you say?
Yeah. It's part of it. It's an element.
Of it.
So we can hop over to our final thoughts and ratings. What do you want to leave off with Smile 2, and what do you give it out of 10? I'm excited to hear what your score is.
I thought it was a great movie, and I'm going to do what I did with the first one, which I feel like I have been doing, is doing like halves instead of like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, you know?
Yeah.
The first one I remember saying I was in between 9 and 9.5, but I ended up going for 9.5.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same thing. I'm between 8.5 and 9 for the second, but I gotta go with 9.
You just gotta go with 9.
I'm just gonna go like it. Solid 9.
I like it. I went 8.5 with the first film. For this one, there was part of me lingering in the 7s and part of me lingering in the 6s, but I think I'm just gonna go flat 7. I thought it was a good movie. 7 out of 10 for me is good, and
it's really good.
I didn't think it was great. Like, I thought the first one was great, but I still had a good enough time with it to where I would go see it again.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not in theaters.
I almost saw it a third time.
I was gonna say I don't know if I'll do it again in theaters, but this is definitely one where, like, if I watch the first one, I'm probably gonna watch the second one type of thing down the road. You know what I mean? Like, it's never gonna be like, oh, I'm just gonna watch one.
And you know I want to watch it with you whenever.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, still, like, kudos to the acting. I thought Naomi Scott was great. It was cool hearing that, like, this was her first major role. Parker Finn is still doing wonderful things in that director's chair, and anything he touches, I'm going to give a chance.
So, what was your favorite scene
in the movie?
Because I know you talked about the one that got you the most.
Probably
that's a layered question.
Yeah,
you know,
probably the Fergoli scene, the scene where we get the first interaction after Gallner's death.
With the weights
and stuff.
That's my favorite too. Like, just
I
the
love the set
intensity,
design in that scene.
Yes.
I thought like his apartment was
sick.
Like, he had the arcade machines. Like, it just looked like a fun place to be. And then I love, like, too, that at the same time she's going to call 911, and then, like, it kind of zooms in on the cocaine. Like, it was cool, like, how she couldn't tell anyone.
Yeah. She used so many things, emotions.
Yeah,
and
there was just so many things playing into that one scene.
Yes.
You know?
So many possibilities going through her head. Yeah, I would also say that 100%. One as well.
But yeah, it's definitely a good watch. And like I said, Parker Finn, keep it up. Mm-hmm. Keep giving us unique stuff. I'm interested to see if he jumps to anything else, or if, obviously, like how we said with this one ended, we'd be kind of shocked if a Smile 3 isn't in the works, or at least announced here, soon to be in the works. But I would like to see Parker Finn take on something else as well.
New IP for sure.
Yeah, see what he can put together outside of the Smile franchise as well. So
Bet he's already brainstorming and writing.
see.
So
I mean, that's with Damien Leone.
He's so successful already.
I know you don't love the Terrifier movies, but Damien Leone in a previous interview.
But like I said, but I am in the realm of like if they come out with one, I'm gonna go see it. Like the gore, I like the gore. It's just I think they're corny. You know.
Yeah, Leone was talking about in an interview how he would love to do like a reboot for Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ooh.
And I'm like, give me that.
Yeah.
Like if his hands,
especially you,
on deck.
Yeah.
I'm here for
sure.
That'll do it for Smile 2. Mike, thank you, brother, for coming on.
Always good being on, bro.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some of these other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. We appreciate anything, and we will talk to you all soon.
Peace.
Peace.